If you've never been on Stan Twitter, like never, you will probably be surprised to learn that Stans are currently obsessed with the warming up and serving of delicious corn-based Tex-Mex dishes, or more specifically, the reheating of nachos. Over the last couple of months, this concept of reheating nachos has become increasingly popular on Stan Twitter, with several users using the term in their tweets, and it has eventually gone viral, reaching locals, non-Stan Twitter folk. But what exactly does reheating nachos mean? Well, reheating nachos is a term used primarily by members of Stan Twitter when comparing artist to artist. In the Stan sphere, every artist and their fan groups are in direct competition with each other, even if the artists themselves IRL are not, and are even friends. Because of this, any similarity, even minor ones such as wearing similar colours, will be shared by fan groups online, along with accusations of copying. And it is these alleged pop plagiarism Stan scenarios where reheating nachos is used. Artist X is reheating artist Y's nachos, probably the only algebra some of us will ever understand. However, definitions of reheating nachos does differ from user to user, as you will see in the controversy section of this video. Yes, there is a controversy section of this video on reheating hypothetical nachos. Now, for some examples, and remember these are tweets from other people and they do not reflect my personal views and opinions. Tate McRae keeps on trying to reheat Nelly Furtado's nachos, but the microwave keeps on breaking. Does that make sense? Ice Spice needs to reheat these nachos. Miss Addison Rae needs to reheat these nachos, honestly. Gaga reheating her Judas nachos mixed with Alejandro chicken. More on Gaga later. The phrase, with its newfound popularity, is now also being used in less pop music focused and slightly more niche circumstances. I need EastEnders to reheat these nachos. She reheated RuPaul's nachos from the season 6 promo. And from this definition and examples of people using the phrase, you are probably wondering, how did we get here? I wonder that with every video I make. But to explain the origins of reheating nachos in the Stan Twitter world, we must first understand the art of wanting nachos, which means we have to go back in time to 2023. On the 3rd of December 2023, the TikTok page Baddies Funny shared a TikTok that would change both Stan Twitter history and the Tex-Mex culinary climate forever. For some context, Baddies Funny is a TikTok page that uploads clips of and relating to the American reality TV show Baddies, which follows a group of women all living together who, for the most part, were previously cast members on the TV show Bad Girls Club, which aired between 2006 and 2017. The TikTok that Baddies Funny shared was of a clip from Baddies West, specifically episode 7, Who's Bad, which aired on the 5th of March 2023. The clip is of two of the cast members from Baddies, Stunner Girl and Natalie Nunn, talking about fights within the house, and while the pair is talking, Stunner Girl is eating some nachos. Yes, these are the original nachos, the nachos in question. A couple of times throughout the conversation, Natalie appears to be looking at Stunner Girl's nachos as she eats them, and then 9 months later, in December 2023, the TikTok account Baddies Funny shared this video of Natalie looking at the nachos, captioning it, "You can tell Natalie low-key wanted Stunner Girl's nachos." This tortilla chip TikTok went on to gain over 190,000 likes and over 1.5 million views on the app, because it does appear that Natalie did want Stunner Girl's nachos. Over the months following the viral nacho TikTok, the caption of the video was just sporadically tweeted by random Twitter accounts for seemingly no reason, just the caption, no context. And by April, the phrase was quite frequently being randomly regurgitated on Twitter, alongside users sharing a gif of the TikTok, still usually without any context. However, as the Natalie Nunn meme started to become well known on Twitter, some users began remixing the phrase. For example, one user shared a gif of Real Housewives Bethany Frankel and Dorinda Medley, which they'd captioned, "You can tell Dorinda low-key wanted Bethany's soup," and another user who shared the Natalie Natalie Stunner Nachos gif captioned it, "Natalie equals me, Stunner Girls Nachos equals peach Red Bull," as in, this user wanted a peach Red Bull. It was around this time in late April/May where users started to substitute other things into the Stunner Girls Nachos meme framework, such as other Twitter users, "You can tell dis my seat low-key wanted floor spaces nachos," I don't know how true that is, to also just applying it to their general wants, "co-worker bought crumble." The first examples that I could find of someone using the phrase in a more stan Twittery context and in closer relation to the pop music world were posted on the 3rd of May 2024. The tweets, which were shared within minutes of each other, were about a particular shot of Beyonce and Dua Lipa from the 2024 Grammys, with one user attaching the Natalie Stunner Girls Nachos caption to a gif of the Grammys moment, whereas the other tweet, which was posted by the user Louis Bay, said the following: "You could tell Beyonce low-key wanted Dua's nachos." Although this is seemingly the first stan Twitter use of wanting nachos, the phrase didn't really take off on stan Twitter until June the following month. Ellen low-key wanted some of her nachos, referencing Britney Spears on Ellen. "You can tell Marina low-key wanted Charlie and Lord's nachos," referencing Marina sharing love for Charlie and Lord's Brat remix. During this time, with more and more users starting to use the phrase, wanting nachos slowly became less about a jealousy of wanting something physical that someone else had, although that meaning of nachos still stands, as well as less about someone just staring at someone/something else. The quote-unquote nachos started to become slightly less tangible, referring to things like aesthetics, style, focus/attention, as well as just general vibes, with the phrases being used to highlight believed similarities. For example, again, these aren't my opinions, "You can tell she low-key wanted Lana's nachos. Jojo wanted a bite of Clairo's nachos so bad. You can tell Baby Monster low-key wanted Ives nachos." Some users online claim that this shift in meaning from just referencing the TikTok to an accusation of copying was actually due to, or at least influenced by, Natalie Nunn and Stunner Girl Again, as following Baddies West, some people felt and posted online claiming that Natalie's style shifted to be more like Stunner Girl's style, and that's where this meme concept of wanting nachos came from, with Natalie wanting her nachos being wanting her style. And I'm not saying these people are wrong, even though it sounds like I am because I have a very dry tone. However, in my research I was unable to find any direct examples of people claiming this potential style adoption as a wanting of nachos, so I do wonder if this was more of a coincidence and an added layer to the meme rather than an actual origin, if that makes sense. So, from what I could find, the progression of the nachos phrase was just a natural, as if any of this video is natural, development from people repeating the caption of the video to then starting to insert their own X and Y. You can tell X wants/wanted Y's nachos. You can tell Joe regrets wants Joe forgets his nachos. Shameless second channel plug. Wanting someone's nachos soon became a common stan Twitter term and was frequently used by many accounts, with some examples gaining thousands of likes, which demonstrates how widespread and understood it had become in the community. But that's wanting nachos. Where did this reheating nachos come from? I don't know why I'm asking you all these questions, I'm the one making the video. Well, according to knowyourmeme.com, the first instance of reheating nachos being used in a stan Twitter context was actually on the 15th of September 2024, during the wanting nachos rise to popularity, when the Twitter user Kiana, or K3YON3R, replied to a now private tweet saying, "Reheating Doja's nachos real bad. Context unknown." And so I decided to enter my journalism era and I reached out to Kian Islana and asked them about the tweet. The user said that their tweet was a reply to a post about the Katy Perry song I'm His, He's Mine, featuring the American rapper Doechii, with the user feeling that Doechii was reheating Doja Cat's nachos with her verse on the song. Kian Islana also told me that they actually got the phrase from their oomphs, followers/friends that they were with in a group chat, and so reheating nachos wasn't actually their own invention. Following my interaction with the account, I was then able to find this earlier tweet shared by the account VonCYBR, which used the nachos meme. album. This tweet, again about Doechii, sorry Doechii, I personally love your nachos, was posted 2 days prior to the Kia Nislana tweet. It is often difficult to pinpoint the exact user or time that a Stan Twitter meme or trend was created because Stan Twitter users have a tendency to delete/private their accounts or act in a way that gets their accounts suspended. That being said, from my research, I believe these tweets are the first uses of the Reheating Nachos that we know of today, at least on Twitter, that can still be viewed on the site as of February 2025. Although the first tweets using Reheating Nachos were seemingly posted back in September 2024, the phrase was only used sporadically over the remainder of 2024, and it wasn't until mid to late January 2025 that the phrase took off. In January, several tweets were made using Reheating Nachos that went on to gain several thousands of likes. She's trying to reheat the out of Britney's nachos, goddamn. Trying to reheat Lily Rose's nachos. Kinda need her to reheat these nachos for the next album. The concept of reheating nachos is, in my opinion, very similar to what the wanting nachos phrase grew to mean. However, I think that the reheating nachos also comes with a greater added negative connotation than wanting them does, because nachos is not a food that reheats well. They tend to go soggy, so when nachos have been reheated, they tend to not be quite as good as the original version. See, there's all these layers at work here. The Stan Twitter concept of reheating nachos began to truly go viral in early February 2024, around the same time as the release of Lady Gaga's song Abracadabra, which many felt was reminiscent of her older music and aesthetic. Thus, Gaga had reheated her own nachos. And one tweet, which claimed that Gaga had done so with the song, gained over 180,000 likes. With the first really viral Reheating Nachos tweet being about Lady Gaga, the nachos meme has kind of become inseparable from Lady Gaga, especially to the wider audience. However, due to how good Lady Gaga's new song Abracadabra is, it's a bop, people felt that the term Reheating Nachos felt inadequate, especially given the slightly negative connotation Reheating Nachos has, because you know, soggy. And so users began to adapt the phrase. Lady Gaga air fried her own nachos and they came out so good. She wrapped the edges with foil to keep them from burning. She didn't reheat her nachos, she went to the kitchen with Gordon Ramsay and made the chips from scratch. In my opinion, this pairing of reheating nachos with Lady Gaga's Abracadabra, which is in itself a viral moment, has sort of made the metaphorical potential food hygiene hazard concept grow rapidly and reach locals faster than the usual Stan Twitter meme would, because if we're being honest, sometimes it's a 2-year delay before a meme hits Instagram Reels. Speaking of Instagram Reels differences, due to the fame of Gaga's reheated nachos, MasterCard, who had partnered with Lady Gaga for Abracadabra, shared a video to their TikTok of someone cooking nachos with the Gaga song playing in the background, captioned POV, Mother after saving pop music. This nachos video, however, was not shared to MasterCard's Instagram page. I told you there's a 2-year delay. And although maybe not having quite made it over to Instagram, or at least MasterCard's Insta, just yet, the reheating nachos meme is now fairly widespread, with some news sites covering the memes. The trend has also gained a little bit of celebrity attention too, with legendary singer and Twitter user Dionne Warwick being asked about reheating nachos. At Dionne Warwick, what do you think about the girlies reheating nachos? Should they get more into their creative bags? What? Cilla Black tried to reheat your nachos but failed disastrously. I understand the term now, thank you. And so the term officially has reached beyond the Stan Twitter sphere. So much so that the reheating nachos meme eventually reached the person who, if reheating nachos was a disease, is arguably patient zero. Lady Gaga herself. On the 6th of March 2025, in an interview with Entertainment Weekly, Lady Gaga was asked about whether she had heard of this reheating nachos concept. She revealed that yes, she had heard of reheating nachos, and that in regard to the state of her own nachos, she said, "My nachos are mine, I invented them, and I'm proud of them." And so the meme had officially come full circle in quite a sweet and satisfying way. But would it really be a video about Stan Twitter without a little bit of controversy. Since gaining virality, the concept of what exactly reheating nachos means and in what circumstances it is applicable has become an area of contention. On the 3rd of February 2025, one tweet which referenced the reheating nachos jargon went viral, gaining 125,000 likes. The concept of nachos as currency or social standing cracks me up each time. Like, what do you mean Lady Gaga reheated her nachos? Now, this tweet stirred up some controversy amongst reheated nachos users who felt that defining nachos as currency or social standing was incorrect. It means neither of those things though. The way this isn't what it means, which proves nachos has been run into the ground. And, unrelated to the viral controversial tweet, one Twitter user expressed their irritation at the two Tex-Mex terms, reheating nachos and wanting nachos, being conflated. The only person who can reheat nachos is the original owner of the nachos, otherwise it's just low-key wanting your nachos, which means, going back to my very loose concept of algebra, instead of the equation being artist X is reheating artist Y's nachos, it would have to be artist X wants artist Y's nachos and then artist X is reheating artist X minus T's nachos, with T being time, as they are reheating their own nachos from some time ago. However, despite the objections of these nacho purists, I do think that as the meme has grown, the two meme concepts, wanting and reheating, are now kind of interchangeable. Due to these misconceptions of what reheating nachos means and its widespread virality, reaching an audience that isn't as stan Twitterly inclined, some users have declared that the reheating of nachos is officially over. And although the meme's exact time of death is hard to determine, what I do know is that now I have made a video about reheating nachos, the meme is officially dead. Special thanks to Kian Islana on Twitter for very kindly answering my questions on the reheated nachos topic. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like and consider subscribing if you would like to see more videos like this one in the future.